Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the introduction. Hello, Minister. I'm really delighted that this is the 8th year of Radi, and I have to say I'm very impressed that it's had ministerial support for every year. Very often you find with these initiatives that there's lots of excitement from the beginning, but continuing that legacy and that engagement and that energy, sometimes that goes downhill. So that's really exciting that that's continuing. And I'm also really delighted that this is actually my third appearance at Radi. So I've really enjoyed being part of the community here and contributing to the exciting debates that are going on here in Latvia. I would just briefly like to present to you 3 global trends in design and how I think that relates to Latvia and how that can be implemented here. So I feel that design is a crucial component of the creative economy, not only because, of course, designers themselves are creative individuals, but also because of the impact that design has on other sectors. So its sphere of influence is so much more magnified than the sum of its parts. And the 3 trends that I would like to present to you relate to the fact that since 2004, over 70 design agencies have been acquired by big multinationals, the likes of Google and IBM and Adobe. So these companies are internalizing their design expertise, recognizing that design, which is a creative approach to problem solving that puts people at the heart of the development process, is crucial for business success and crucial for innovating with people. Okay, so great. So Google is investing in design, but what does that mean for companies here in Latvia? Well, fundamentally, we have to compete now on a global scale. So, of course, small companies are looking to export their expertise, their products, their services, their concepts. I'm really delighted that LIA, the Latvian Investment and Development Agency, is developing business support programs which integrate design into the raft of support that's available to small companies here in Latvia. And in the summer, LIA will be launching their first design voucher. So this is an opportunity for small companies to connect with a designer and to benefit from coaching, mentoring and expertise in design processes to bring new concepts to the market. So this is something that's happening this summer. So I'd really encourage those of you who are connected to small businesses or to creative agencies to get involved with this program. It's going to be set up as a pilot, so hopefully if it's successful, this is something that's going to extend in scope and scale, so that design, as you said, isn't just something that's a nice to have, but becomes a mainstream part of innovation programs here in Latvia and a well-recognized approach to generating competitiveness and innovation in businesses here. So that's my first trend. So the idea that business support agencies are now really focusing on design as a means for competitiveness. My second trend is that governments themselves are practicing what they preach and actually using design as an approach to engaging the public in developing user-friendly public services. So around the world, there are more than 100 of these so-called policy labs. These are small but very agile and energetic teams within governments that are using these very creative, design-led approaches to engage citizens in solving social and public service development projects. Again, I think this is something that was alluded to earlier by the Minister, the idea of creative bureaucracy. You know, how can we ensure that we reduce the bureaucratic burden on citizens and make sure that they're very engaged in the way that public services are developed and delivered to ensure that they are desirable to use, sustainable and engaging for the public. And I think the third trend that I'd like to share with you is about design and policy. So actually, how can governments support design across the whole country to facilitate a design ecosystem that is in balance, ensuring quality design education, ensuring quality design expertise in the design sector, and how this system interlinks to be effective. And I have to say that Latvia is one of the examples that I always cite when I go abroad as an example of a leader in design policy. The Ministry of Culture is doing amazing work in bringing together experts in the Latvian Design Council to implement a design action plan based on design strategy. And I'm really excited to see what's going to be happening in the current months and years. And I think what's particularly exciting is the breadth of this policy and the fact that it doesn't only focus on design in the context of culture, but in a much broader context, which from a single ministry is very progressive. So I'm going to be coming back in October to bring experts from a European project, which we're running with Leah, called Design for Innovation. And the conference is going to focus on design action plans. And as I said, Latvia will be cited as an example of good practice. And I hope that we'll perhaps all see you in October for that event, so we can share some of those examples of companies that have successfully used design to innovate, and of public sector organisations which have also embraced design as a philosophy in the way that they deliver public services and public policies. So I hope that I'll speak to some of you later, and if you have any questions, I'd love to speak to you. So thank you very much.
Maybe we can just sit here. With your experience and background and being so much into the local Latvian situation, where do you see Latvia in 100 years? What do you see our next centennial looking like, and our design policy and trends 100 years? A long time.
As in the next 100 years? Yeah. Wow, gosh, that's such a big question, and I'm not prepared for that. But I think that I was really intrigued by the theatre sketch this morning and the idea of technology and being the future. Of course, technology will be the future. Who knows whether in 100 years' time we're all going to be walking around with VR headsets or whatever. But fundamentally, people are our asset. And I think that creativity, it's a cliche that you probably hear all the time, really is the future of our competitiveness. There's so many things that technology will be able to do, but fundamentally the ideas have to come from people. So if we don't foster creativity in our education, in our workforce, we, Latvia, the UK, wherever, won't be able to kind of compete on that global scale. So I think that's something that I see as being quite exciting.
Thanks so much. So we're definitely on the right path.
Definitely on the right path, yeah.
Thanks so much. Does anyone else have a question for Anna, as she is so quick in her opening speech today, but her mind and her value to the Latvian ecosystem, I think, is very, very important. So anyone wish to address Anna with a small question? I think everyone just saw that the Prosecco was poured. Thanks so much. Thanks.